Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I know it takes you guys a second to log on. I'm getting to my little pages, waiting for you. It's a little bit cooler in Dallas today, so that's good. It has been so stinking hot. How is everybody doing today? Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Jen, Heather, Sarah, Cherie, Justice. Ooh, I love that name, Justice. Janae, Roxana, Ada, Martha, April, Tanya. Good morning, you guys. Oh my gosh. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Oh my gosh, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Oh, maybe I don't. Nicole, John, Christine, good morning. Denise. You know what, you guys, I just am loving this. I think it's so incredibly needed in sort of what we're facing. I love that it's the Bible saying it. The things that, we're learning and highlighting and stuff like that. And that's the way it should be. The Bible should govern our lives as believers. It should be the thing that teaches us. It should be the thing that we listen to. It should be our go-to. That's how I lived my life for 20 years. And so I'm just loving this. It's so crazy. As many times as I have read the Proverbs, it sticks out to me differently every single time. The Bible is such a supernatural book that it just speaks to you differently. So, I am loving this. I broke my rule yesterday and I looked at the news, and I just sort of read some of the headlines and stuff like that, because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was so glad we were doing this study after I watched the news yesterday. So Proverbs 6 is incredible passage. There are two things that I want to highlight. In Proverbs 6, it's basically talking about parental counsel. So counsel that you would get from a mom or a dad, okay? It tells you how important that counsel is and how you should follow it. And it's another bind around your neck thing that Solomon talks about here. But this is one thing that I wanted to highlight. There's two things I want to highlight. One is Proverbs 6, verse 6. It says, go to the ant. Now, it talks about the ant. In Texas, we have fire ants that are horrible. They're like little demons, okay? They'll bite you, and I am actually allergic to them. And so when they bite me, I have a reaction to them. But they're everywhere, and they build these huge mounds in Texas. And we've learned how to live with them. Sometimes you have to coexist with them because especially after it rains, they like bubble up everywhere. But they're so incredibly tenacious. They're so incredibly organized. They're smart. They have a mission, and they're just teeny tiny little ants. So they're like our little enemies, but there's something we can gain from them. He says in Proverbs 6, verse 6, go to the ant, O sluggard. I mean, he like puts it all out there. Observe her ways and be wise, which, having no chief officer or ruler, she prepares her food in the summer and gathers her provision in the harvest. How long will you lie down, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Your poverty will come in like a vagabond, and your need like an armed man. Now, this to me is like, because it basically talks about being lazy. Now, I personally am a workaholic, and I know a lot of people are. I have the opposite problem. I work too much, especially last fall. God was telling me, you need to slow down. You are doing too much. Your plate is too full. You're going to burn out. You need to stop. Okay. So there are two different ends to this. There is someone that is lazy, and then there's me. And that's also sin. Okay. That is also not good. But I was thinking about this in relation to our children. My children, we have 4 children. We have a 14-year-old, we have an 11-year-old, and we have 2 5-year-olds. And you, of course, can apply this to any person, but I was thinking about them. My son, and I'll just use him as an example, he is 11 years old, and he cuts the grass every single week. Now in Texas, it's been over 100 degrees every week for a couple of weeks. That is no excuse. We tell him, if it's going to be hot, you have to get up earlier. So if you know if it's going to be hot, you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure you cut the grass. Yesterday, he did that. He got up really early. He cut our grass. It looks great. We're so proud of him. And then last night, my husband had to go to work late last night. And my son, we told him, it's probably, if you want to earn money, you need to go to work with dad. And so we own a small business. So my son was able to go to work with my husband last night. And when he came home, they got in about 10:30 at night. It was late. My son was smiling from ear to ear. He was so incredibly proud of himself. My husband said he did a great job because he assisted. He only wanted to tell me what he had accomplished. He was proud of himself. And I had just read this passage, and I had just decided I was going to talk about it today. But when Solomon puts this in the scripture, it's because he knows that us getting up and us going to work and us not be lazy, it does something in us. First of all, it means that we're not, we will eat just like the ant. She gathers her food in the summer, and when harvest time, she's ready to go for the winter. She doesn't have to worry about the winter. There is so much wisdom in preparing, looking ahead, but also in the work itself, because it gives us a sense of pride, not in an egotistical way, but just in a, wow, I can do this. Wow, look what I did. I remember my first job after I got out of my house, living with my parents. I had my first job. I bought my first house, and I thought, you know what? I can do this. I can be an adult. The same applies right now. As believers, the wisdom here from our parent Solomon, from our dad Solomon, is that we are to work, not just work, we're to look ahead, and we're to prepare for the next season that might not be as bountiful as it is now. Um, I love so many different things about this. I think it's important. I think we need to work in all of our lives, even in areas of bondage. I have often said people stay defeated because victory takes work. Work out of that bad habit, mental habit. Work out of that broken system that you've sort of lived in, broken culture that you've lived in your own home. Work out of an unhealthy relationship or an unhealthy situation. Work is one of those things that I think is so incredibly important. It's one reason why I've written 3 books and I'm not even 40 yet, because I believe that there is something about working that and preparing for our future that you really can't get from anything else. You see that you can do it. That's what you see. And so Solomon is talking all about that. And like I said, I have the other problem that I'm a workaholic. I work way too much, and God convicts me of that all the time. So if that's you, that's also not good. The next thing I want to talk about is in the world that we live in right now. I think a lot of people are saying, this is point number 2, a lot of people are saying, where is God? What's going on? Where is God? I think when it comes to what side do we take on some of these social issues. Hold on, I think I have a child coming. Hold on just a second. Yes, buddy.
Can I make myself toast?
Yes, buddy. Go on in. Okay, sorry about that. My son, they're still obsessed with the toaster. I don't know if you saw, we got a toaster like a month ago. My kids are absolutely obsessed. But I think sometimes we wonder, what does God think about this? What does God think about what we're sort of seeing happen in our world today? And in Proverbs 6:16, does God approve? Does God like this? I think these are some things that are super important to keep in mind when you're thinking about your life and you're thinking, does God approve of this relationship? Does God approve of what's going on here? In Proverbs 6:16, it's very hardcore. It slaps you straight in the face because it's so directly to the point. There are 6 things which the Lord hates. 7 which are an abomination to him. It's crazy because I was actually thinking about this verse a couple weeks ago, and here it is. I'm reading it just a couple weeks later. If you ever wonder, does God approve of what I'm doing? Does God approve in this situation? What should I do in this situation? What side would God be on in this situation? This is one good gauge. There are 6 things which the Lord hates, 7 which are an abomination to him. Verse 17. Haughty eyes. Prideful, being prideful. Pride. He hates pride. Pride is why Satan fell. He thought, I'm better than God. And so he convinced a bunch of angels. They went up, they tried to overthrow God. Well, that didn't work, and he was kicked out of heaven. God hates pride. If you're in a situation and you're in a relationship or whatever with someone that is prideful, if you yourself are prideful, know this: God don't like it, okay? The second one is this: a lying tongue. Who likes a lying tongue? Who likes to be lied to? Not many people I know. God hates it too. Pride, a lying tongue. Third is this: hands that shed innocent blood. Next one: a heart that devises wicked plans. Feet that run rapidly to evil. 19 says this: a false witness who utters lies, and one who spreads strife among brothers. There you have it. Those are a lot to chew on. I could talk about all of them. Pride, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked, someone that is just constantly thinking about how to take somebody down, feet that run rapidly to evil. Oh, you're doing something terrible. Let me go follow after that. A false witness who utters lies, one who spreads strife among brothers. These 6 things the Lord hates, 7 are an abomination to him. If we sit and think about where we're at, what we're allowing in our lives, what we're allowing to influence us, we should continually go back to, Lord, are you in this? Do you approve of this? If what you're involved in has these characteristics, it's pretty clear based on Proverbs. What God hates, what he does not like. And I like that because to me, I'm very straight to the point person, which is one reason why I am obsessed with the Bible. It's very straight to the point. I don't really like when I get real frustrated when someone's trying to tell me something and they sort of wrap it in a bunch of jargon and they like put a bunch of fluffy language around it. I'm like, just give it to me. I'm a very straight shooter. If you know me in my personal life, you know exactly where you stand with me. I say exactly what I think. I'm not someone who doesn't. And this speaks to me. This gives me something I can actually tangibly look at my life and say, okay, is this a characteristic of something in my life or something that I'm believing? And it's a really good standard on what to avoid. So, there you have it. Very straight to the point today. We'll go over Proverbs 7 tomorrow, which I absolutely love. I'm loving this. If you want to go deeper, you can go to our Gangster Prayer Ambassador book page. There's a lot of people that have joined that page, and they're having some dialogue about specifically what we're learning through Proverbs. But I love you guys so much. It came straight from the Lord, straight from the Word of God. We're gaining wisdom here. I hope you feel wiser.